Hi guys. So, today we are in Helaman, chapters 11 and 12. So, last week I didn't really give you guys much instruction on Helaman 10 because it was a short chapter and I really wanted you guys to think about what was happening, and I know I've kind of just told you guys what's been happening lately. But I feel like we're at the point now where maybe you guys can start thinking a little bit more, doing a little bit more yourself. If we were in class, you guys would have the opportunity to really engage with me back and forth. And so I really want to start doing these lessons where you guys are doing a little more in depth rather than just being told what it's about. So I won't do a ton of homework per se all the time, but I do have chapters that I think it's really important that you guys really kind of search yourselves and kind of see some things that are happening. So today is going to be another one of those lessons. So fair warning, this lesson will probably take you about 20-25 minutes to complete. The video is not very long, but the lesson will be. I have some images I'm going to try to upload into this video. Wish me luck. It may or may not work. So we're going to talk in Chapter 11, this covers 14 years, guys, and it covers the pride cycle over and over and over again. Here's a picture of the pride cycle. Okay, if you need to back up that, you guys have your seminary journals. Everybody got one. If you haven't picked it up yet, it's still at the church. I think there were only 2 last I looked. Today, there's going to be a lot of writing, and I want you to write in there, and I want you to write the date at the top of the page, and Helaman, 11 through 12, whatever, and then I want you to draw a picture of that pride cycle, okay? It doesn't have to be pretty. You don't have to prove to me that you did it, but please do it. So draw a picture of that pride cycle, so back up the video if you need to see what that looks like, okay? Our second thing we're going to do is we're going to make a chart, okay? And I'm going to describe the chart, and then I'll put the chart at the very end of this video. Okay, so it seems like the people just won't learn. And yet the more I read, the more it feels like this is exactly the times we're going through. This is just before before Christ is born. We are in now like the 20 BC to 17 BC. And so this is like just before Christ is being born. And it always gets the roughest and the hardest just before something great is going to happen. So remember that as we go through this. And it really talks about how the people are wicked, and then they're forced to be humbled. And because they're forced to be humbled, they fall back into their wicked ways really easy. And so you really can see this pride cycle go over and over again in these 14 years. Okay. So what we're going to do here is you guys are going to read through these verses. And I have a chart that I'm going to, like I said, post at the end. And you're going to read some verses. I already have the year that it is. I have the verses listed. What you're going to do is kind of just give an overview of what's happening with the Nephites in these verses. It doesn't have to be anything grand, great. If they're being bad and having wars, say contention and wars. If they're being humbled, say following Christ, whatever, being humble. This is just for you. However, I would like you to screenshot your chart. I'm not going to go over it in your picture. Just screenshot your chart when you get it filled out so that I know you actually did the activity. Okay? So I want to talk about this though, because it says, I have some quotes here that I really like about this, and I'm going to read the quotes, and then I'll post our chart for you guys to finish, so this isn't terribly long. Okay. Elder Richard G. Scott said, "The Lord heard his servant's supplication and caused the famine to cease." Okay, so you know there's going to be a famine. They're going to be forced to be humble because there's a famine. But not until the following year. This event illustrates that the Lord hears our pleas immediately, but then answers when, in his wisdom, we will benefit the most from his response. Okay, and one of the things I want you guys to note here too, as you heard, there's going to be a famine, and one of the things in verse 6, and it says that the whole earth was smitten, even among the Lamanites as well as among the Nephites. And so it talks about really that the Nephites are being the ones that are wicked, but the Lamanites are suffering also. And so remember that even when there's suffering and there's contention and there's bad things going on, it's not necessarily because we're bad people. We don't get punished. The Lord isn't like a giant man with a magnifying glass burning ants down here. That's not how the Lord is. He loves us. And sometimes we have to go through hard things. And sometimes we go through hard things because it helps us grow. And sometimes we go through hard things because people around us are being wicked. But the Lord is always with us. If we will remember him and pray to him, he will help us even when there's bad things all around us. Okay, guys? So, one of the quotes here I want to read. It says, God will have a humble people. Either we can choose to be humble or we can compel to be humble. Alma said, blessed are they who humble themselves without being compelled to be humble. Let us choose to be humble. We can humble ourselves by conquering enmity or hatred between our brothers and sisters, esteeming them as ourselves and lifting them as high or higher than we are. Okay, I'm going to pause the quote there. We see that so much right now, and we see so much hatred. I talk about this in my videos all the time, guys, that we see hatred all over social media. If you say who you're going to vote for, or masks or no masks, or going back to school, or whether it should be virtual even. I mean, there's so many things that cause contention, and people aren't willing to agree to disagree. That they think everybody has to think the same. And that's not true, guys. We don't have to. And so being humble can be choosing to turn the other cheek. Okay? I'm going to skip to the end of this quote. And it says, we can choose to be humble. We can choose to humble ourselves by loving God, submitting our will to his, and putting him first in our lives. Let us choose to be humble. We can do it. I know we can. Okay, so that's all chapter 11. It's like all the pride cycle, and it's all the kind of going back and forth and watching that. Okay, but verse 12, it's Mormon's thoughts kind of on what he has seen through these chapters, okay? And so I went through and you guys know I like to do it. I just highlighted the numbers, okay? You can see the numbers there, and then the numbers here. Okay, I highlighted the numbers in red that the verse is talking about kind of the iniquity and the rough and how people are just forgetting God. And then I highlighted in yellow the ones where we're remembering God. Okay, so basically, guys, everything is highlighted in red in verse 20 or in chapter 12, except verse 23 and 24 are yellow because they are God saying, blessed are they who repent. So it's when the righteous, okay? So if you want to highlight like I do, all the verses are red except 23 and 24. And then 25 I left blank because it's not really good or bad. It's just kind of a statement. And it says, and I would that all men might be saved. But we read, in the great and last day, there are some who shall be cast out, yea, who shall be cast off from the presence of the Lord. So it talks a little bit about being cast off, but mostly it's just like this neutral, this is what's going to happen. So tomorrow we're going to talk about Samuel the Lamanite. I love Samuel the Lamanite, guys. We're almost to 3rd Nephi. 3rd Nephi, my very favorite book. I love when Christ comes to the Americas. This is seriously like the best thing for me. And so we will get into 3rd Nephi this week. But in the meantime, do your chart. I'm going to post it at the end of this video and screenshot it and send it to me. Remember, I don't care what day you do it. Just get it to me before Sunday, before our Zoom call. Okay? I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon. Here's your chart.